Now, probably one of the updates I'm most excited for this year is While Guthix Sleeps. It's such an iconic quest, and I'm really excited for it to come to Old School, and today we finally know what the quest is going to be rewarding, and it's going to be different than, for one, the RS3 version of this quest, and also different from what was originally pitched. But let's take a look at it. Now, While Guthix Sleeps is one of the most beloved quests from RuneScape and continues the Majorat storyline. Now, historically, the main reward from this quest is Tormented Demons, which would drop the Dragon Claws. And there was some talk of moving Dragon Claws from the Chambers of Xeric drop table to Tormented Demons. But it looks like they've decided not to do that. They're not going to move Dragon Claws at all. They're not going to offer them in both locations. Dragon Claws are going to remain a raids drop. Instead, though, they're going to be offering a new trifecta of Demonbane weapons, crafted from the Tormented Synapse, which is going to be a new tradable unique drop coming from Tormented Demons. All these weapons are going to be tier 75 as well, which means you'll need 75 attack, ranged, and magic respectively to wield these weapons. Now, to craft these weapons, you're going to need 74 in your relevant crafting skill, and there's no NPC that will do it for you, so you have to get the required crafting levels to make it, whether you're an Ironman or not. Okay, so the first weapon we have is the melee weapon, which is going to be an upgrade to Arclight. Now, looking at this compared to Arclight, the big notable thing that jumps out is this has a much higher stab and slash accuracy, and 5 more melee strength bonus as well, while retaining the exact same special effect, 70% increased damage and accuracy versus demons. The special attack it offers is very similar to that of Arclight. It lowers your opponent's strength, attack, and defense, except this time up to 15% compared to the 10% of Arclight. So overall, just a straight upgrade, going to be super powerful against things like Cerberus, the Abyssal Sire, Tormented Demons themselves, Demonic Gorillas. Special attack will be great at the Corporal Beast. Overall, this is going to be an incredibly strong weapon, with Arclight being a pretty useful stepping stone for mid-game accounts. Okay, so next up here we have the ranged weapon, which is going to be the Scorching Bow. And this bow is coming in with 124 ranged accuracy and 40 range strength. And like the other weapons, we'll have boosted damage and accuracy versus demons. You're going to get 30% increased accuracy and damage. So on its own, this should be a cheaper alternative to the Bow of Ferrodinin, but stronger than it against demons in particular. And once again, it's going to come with a pretty interesting special attack. The Scorching Bow special attack only takes 25% special attack energy, but will bind an enemy for 5 ticks and will deal 1 damage. But if they're a demon, it'll bind them in place for 20 ticks and will deal a bonus 5 damage. So kind of a mini freeze for PVM, plus 5 extra damage, which is actually pretty significant, especially at lower range levels in gear. Now, hoping this freeze effect works on bosses, because like who really needs to do that against Slayer monsters? Hopefully you could, for example, use this to freeze Zamorak in place. That would be pretty useful. Once again, this looks like it'll be a useful weapon at bosses like Zami or Cerberus and Demonic Gorillas. And the special attack is quite interesting, and hopefully you can at least use it at some of those bosses. The last but not least of the Demonbane trifecta is the Ignited Staff, and this one is probably the most interesting of the 3. This one's quite unique. Now first up, just looking at its stats, they're kind of strange. It has a magic attack of 37, which is quite a bit better than the comparable weapon, the Trident of the Swamp, only having 25. It also has 83 crush attack and 62 melee strength, so it actually, I don't know, kind of bops things kind of hard, and boasts a 10% magic damage bonus, which is quite important. With that said, it does have an attack speed of 5, so it has a slower base attack speed, which overall would make the DPS, quite a bit worse, except for its special attack and effect, which are really cool. So rather than giving you an outright damage bonus against demons, this weapon instead will auto-cast combat spells from the Arceus spellbook, specifically Demonbane spells, which will have their bonuses doubled. Now they say double their bonuses. I don't know if that means double their base damage. That seems unlikely. If it means double their base damage, that's kind of insane. Dark Demonbane would hit a base damage of 60. Another question is, does this work with Mark of Darkness? Would it double the effect of Mark of Darkness? Definitely some clarification for this one would be nice. Okay, so some clarification was found. Mod Sarny has confirmed that as of the current iteration of this, the Ignited Staff will double the effect of Mark of Darkness, which means you're going to get an additional 50% damage and 40% accuracy when the spell is active, which means the base damage for Dark Demonbane will go up to 45 from 30, plus 40% accuracy, so it's going to be incredibly strong. Not to mention, with all the other magic damage boosting gear, the spell could hit incredibly hard against demons. Now moving on to the special attack costs 25% spec energy, but if you kill a demon with it, it restores 25% special attack energy, like Death Charge. And if you successfully activate the special attack, it'll also reduce the attack delay by 3, which means if you get lucky and can chain a bunch of special attacks in a row, you can continuously use this weapon to spec. That sounds like it could be really good, but also the base attack speed of this thing is only 5, so there's really a lot going on with this weapon. I think it's a bit hard to get a full picture of how good this is going to be without trying it out, but hands down this is the weapon I am most excited about, but we'll have to see. Now one thing worth noting is none of these weapons appear to have another thing you have to combine it with. The only exception is apparently, currently the Arclight is going to be required to upgrade to Firelight. I mean, it's kind of in the name, but there isn't really an upgradable weapon for Mage in range, so they might just stand on their own. So that is it for the Demon Bane weapons, but there's one last thing that they're going to be adding, and that's going to be a new item called Burning Claws. They wouldn't be Tormented Demons without a claw drop, and this is going to be a tier 65 weapon, filling the space between the Dragon Dagger and the Dragon Claws. It's going to be somewhere in between. So thematically, I'm pretty excited that they are dropping a similar weapon to Claws. It just makes sense based on history. Now this weapon more than anything seems like it's likely to have its stats changed based on this huge thing in bold at the top, so I'm not going to worry too much about the numbers and the damage that it does. Overall though, I think the intent is to have it less strong than Dragon Claws clearly, just somewhere better than the Dragon Dagger, somewhere in the middle. Now it does have a special effect which is going to be different than Claws, and that's going to be a burn effect. When you use a special attack, you have a chance of burning your victim. While burnt, the target will be dealt 10 damage over the course of 40 ticks, so 1 every 4 ticks, and can stack up to 5 times. One thing that's different about these claws is they only require 30% spec to use, which means you could use 3 in short succession, maybe 4, which means you could theoretically stack up the burn pretty quickly. And if you got a fully stacked burn, that's a lot of damage. That could be up to 50 damage over the course of the burn cycle. The way the burning claws are going to work is actually going to be slightly different than the mechanics of Dragon Claws. This is something Mod Sarni posted on the Reddit thread, and it was originally going to be in the blog, but they pulled it because it was a bit overwhelming, and yeah, kind of get that. Now I think the way the damage rolls is a bit different, but I think the most notable thing here is for the new claws, each accuracy roll that you miss of the 3 that you get, you have a higher chance to burn your opponent. So your first roll, you have 33% chance to burn. If you miss your second roll, you have a 66% chance to burn. And if you miss on your third roll, you guaranteed a burn. So pretty interesting. So that's it for the rewards from Wild Gothic Sleeves. Overall, I'm pretty excited about them. I think the Demon Bane Trifecta is a much more interesting reward space than just moving Dragon Claws from chambers. They've been there so long at this point, it would feel kind of weird to move them. And I think the Firelight, the Scorching Bow, and the Ignited Staff offer some much more interesting weapons, and I'm pretty excited to see them in action. But as always, what do you guys think? Let me know down below if you agree, disagree. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.